In 17th century India, survival for an independent empire required an impenetrable base. To resist the pressure of the Mughal and Sultanate forces, the Maratha state needed a capital that was geographically inaccessible. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj identified that location on the jagged summit of Raigad. It was an audacious tactical choice that turned a remote peak into a center of power. The logistical reality of the site was staggering. Reaching the top requires a climb of 2,000 steps over a 3.5-kilometer incline, sitting 10 times higher than rival regional forts like Daulatabad. This extreme elevation provided natural defense against large armies, but it also meant that every stone and beam of the city had to be hauled up the mountain, presenting a massive engineering challenge. How do you build a heavy stone city in the clouds without modern cement, while ensuring it survives high-altitude monsoons and artillery fire? The Maratha engineers developed a localized bioconcrete. They created a mortar by mixing raw limestone with jaggery, a concentrated cane sugar, and the crushed fruit of the bel tree. This mixture was ground for an entire week in massive stone vats powered by bullocks. This intensive processing ensured the binding agents achieved maximum structural strength. This mortar is the reason the fort's masonry remains intact 4 centuries later, showing significantly less erosion than many modern concrete structures in the same region. This specialized mortar allowed the Maratha capital to withstand 4 centuries of erosion and war, demonstrating the long-term utility of their localized material science. Any army that survived the climb was funneled toward the Maha Darwaza, the main gate and a deliberate bottleneck. The curved cow-mouth entrance prevents artillery from getting a direct line of sight, forcing cannon fire to strike the heavy stone exterior. Additionally, 3 oversized steps placed in front of the door stripped charging war elephants of their momentum. If the gates were crowded by a massive force, the defenders had one final drastic option. 2 enormous reservoirs, the Ganga Sagar and Hadi lakes, positioned at a significantly higher elevation than the entrance, could be intentionally emptied. This would send a flood of water down the narrow entrance path, physically washing an invading force off the mountain. The Maha Darwaza functions as a coordinated defense system, leveraging the mountain's architecture and hydrology to disrupt siege attempts. Beyond the physical gates, the fort relied on layers of stealth and information gathering to maintain security. Lookouts used the Wagbill, or Tiger's Eye, a natural rock formation that was adapted into a hidden watchpoint. It allowed observers to monitor the western approach while remaining completely concealed. Deeper inside the summit is the Kalbat Khana. This was the secure chamber where Shivaji Maharaj met with master spies like Bahirji Naik to plan covert operations. The room was designed with unique acoustic properties, absorbing conversations so effectively that guards standing just outside the door could not overhear the details of top-secret debriefings. To survive a prolonged siege, engineers carved grain silos 22 feet deep into the rock. These reservoirs could hold enough supply to sustain the entire population for a full year without any outside support. Ultimately, Raigad's immense resilience was rooted in its unique ability to outlast a prolonged siege through concealed surveillance and self-contained resources. While the perimeter was designed for war, the summit itself was a fully functioning royal city with a complex urban layout. The Bazaar Peth was an 800-foot-long commercial district. The shop floors were uniquely elevated, allowing nobility to trade with merchants without ever having to dismount from their horses. The city included advanced municipal features, like a royal mint and a sophisticated bathroom system for the king that provided automated heated water. Engineers also installed a 400-year-old underground drainage network and dedicated indoor toilets, sanitation infrastructure that was significantly more advanced than most contemporary cities. These infrastructure choices made the summit a viable urban center, integrating daily commerce and sanitation directly into the fortress's layout. At the center of the city stood the Royal Darbar, the site of Shivaji Maharaj's coronation and the administrative heart of the Maratha Empire. The Darbar was an acoustic miracle. The hall was shaped so precisely that a person speaking at a normal volume from the throne could be heard clearly by 6,000 people without any electronic amplification. This engineering peak eventually met a tragic end. During a British attack in 1818, the fort was bombarded and burned continuously for 11 days. The wooden palaces were lost, but the stone foundations and the bioconcrete walls endured the fire and the following 2 centuries of exposure. The design of the fort's nagarkhana, or drum house, was so distinctive that British architects later used it as the visual inspiration for the Gateway of India in Mumbai. Raigad remains an enduring study in 17th century strategy, a capital designed for absolute security that still functioned as a complex, self-reliant city.